Welcome back for another Appalachian Trail thru hiker update and trail information. As usual, I've got a ton of information about thru hikers, and we're getting started in earnest. There's always news that are going on the trail, believe it or not. Registrations, of course, I've always got news about that. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. And I've got some great news during the news section about what's going on with the trail. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So Frodo's back on trail. She had to get off and kind of move north. She is having a problem with nutrition. And so it's not uncommon for thin people, and particularly thin older people. Not saying she's ancient or anything, just saying she's my age. I ain't ancient. And she is having problems with the nutritional side of hiking. So, you burn 3, 4, 5,000 calories a day out there, and it is hard to carry that many calories on your back as you're hiking. And so she says that her legs can way out hike the rest of her body out there. And so she moved further north up into Virginia, where if her family had to come get her or something, they would not be so far away until she can get that worked out. And I've had friends that have told me, Bright Eyes, who's a Sobo, finished her Sobo and her Triple Crown last year and is helping me out this year on the channel. She had indicated that somebody told her to hike with butter. So, butter is fats, not margarine, butter, to hike with butter and eat butter on a regular basis. I have known a lot of people out there who hike with olive oil. So my hiking buddy, come along, he hiked with olive oil. Evans from Evans, believe it's Evans Backpacking Channel. He hiked with olive oil, and so there's a lot of good stuff in olive oil that will get that into your body that you need out there. A lot of fat that'll get that in your body, and so once your body burns through your fat, it's got to get fat from somewhere. And if you ain't carrying it on your back, and let's face it, there's a lot of garbage in what we eat out there on the trail, particularly on long distance hikes. So hopefully Frodo will get that worked out and she can continue her hike. Jedi, he took advantage of some nice weather, so he's out there. He is planning on a flip-flop, if I'm not mistaken, but he had some time where he was actually going to start later and decided he would get out there and make some miles. So he, of course, did that in the lower section of the trail, and he got down and made it all the way from Springer to Unicoi Gap, and he sends in this video.
Hello, Ramdino. Jedi here. It was a pleasure to meet you at End of Days on the Foothills Trail. Right now I'm on the Appalachian Trail. I'm at Low Gap, taking a break. I'm heading toward Unicoi Gap today. The trail is absolutely great. I'm cruising along pretty good today. Other than a few spots where my 6'4" frame had to duck under some trees and some branches, it's been pretty good going. The water sources, some of the areas are a little bit dry, but I know that this coming week we've got some rain, so that should take care of that. See you out on the trail. Happy days.
Fancy Pants, and Curious George, they're on the B2B tour, the B2B hike, Bama to Baxter hike, and they are on the Pinhoti. Look like they have passed mile 300 on the Pinhoti and will be coming off here real soon. And she sends in these videos.
Hey Ramdino, Fancy Pants and Curious George checking in with a weekly update. We are en route to Snake Creek Gap right now. We had heavy rain all day yesterday, steady, and I'm going to turn the camera around to just show you what the trail looks like right now. The trail's like a river. So there you have it. Real-time trail condition update. So things are going well. We have less than 100 miles left to go on the trail. We'll be done with the Pinhoti, at which point we'll be stepping on to the Benton Mackay northbound and hooking up with Springer. Hopefully by the end of the month, if not the first week in March. So that's something to look forward to. And we'll also be hitting our 300 milestone pretty soon. So looking forward to that. The ankle continues to do well. Not taking ibuprofen anymore, but I am taping it. That's it for now. Check in next week.
Thanks a lot. appreciate that update on how things out there on the trail. Those are really good updates for people that may be coming behind you, and a good example of what would be good for folks that are sending in videos to tell us what's going on with the trail. So the thru hikers that watch this channel that are actively out there on the trail, they can follow that as well as section hikers and everybody out there, because this channel is not just about thru hikers. It's also about section hikers and day hikers and anything that's going on with the trail, particularly the Appalachian Trail. So Greystoke, he finished the Springer to Davenport, and he is doing a really weird flip-flop around. It'd take a Philadelphia lawyer to keep up with everything that he's doing out there. But he was in Virginia, and then he decided to flip down south to kind of avoid the colder weather and a lot of the snow as much as possible. Of course, he ran into Ricochet coming through the Smokies and followed his footprints, which he said were the only footprints, all the way through the Smokies, meaning in the snow. He is going to have indicate he was going to go up to Damascus and come down to Davenport Gap. He has made it from Springer to Fontana, and he did that in 6.5 days, which is amazing for a young person, not to mention for a person who is, let's just say, not young. So he is doing awesome out there. He did say not far from Chilliwack Bald, he heard, and that's coming from trail north of the Knock, in between the Knock and Fontana, and he indicated that he heard a crash around the corner, and when he got there, there was a tree that had just come down. So there are trees that are still coming down out there. Their root systems were damaged from Helene that came through, and they may not have come down during Helene, but they are starting to come down now, and all the rain we've had has loosened up the soil, and so a lot of those trees that are weakened, some of those are still coming down, particularly those that have weight on them from other trees that came down. He did say that or rather, I got a note from his wife after I got his note, and he indicated that from Damascus he was coming through, and he said Iron Mountain Shelter, which is in the Big Laurel Wilderness area, through there into Hampton or Watauga Lake. He came through there and said that area has not been cleared. He said it hadn't been touched. And there are sections in that area that have not been touched because that's the Big Laurel Wilderness area. And right now, SAWS, which is a special group that only uses traditional methods of clearing. So they only use crosscut saws, axes, things like that. They don't use any powered equipment. They are working that area, and they've just not got all the way through there yet. So from Wilbur Dam Road there at Watauga Lake northbound into Damascus. Now, the wilderness area doesn't take that whole route. It's not the whole way into Damascus, so it's not a long route into Damascus. I don't know how many miles it is off the top of my head, but it is several miles. And they have just not gotten that portion of it punched through. Now, coming through Damascus, the National Forest Service and some other crews came in, and they took care of that all the way pretty much to the wilderness lines, my understanding. But once you hit that wilderness line, you're going to be dealing with blowdowns. Now, it's possible to get through there. I know numerous or several subos that have gotten through that area. Ricochet has gotten through that area, so it is hikeable, but it is a pain to get through there. And Greystoke said that it's going to take you 2 to 3 times longer to get through that area, but even despite that, he still did 24 miles that day. So he came through there, made it through that section, made it there past Moreland Gap Shelter, which of course was destroyed. We knew that. He said the biggest issues he's having is all the holes that from the root balls that have taken the trail up, and there's no doubt about that. They have not been repaired. We'll talk about that, the repair operations, here in just a minute, but he said some of them are big enough to park a car in. So, and I do not doubt about that. I have seen those size myself. So appreciate that, Greystoke. Straps, he has made it on trail. He started there at Amicalola, or may have started at Springer. No, they did start at Amicalola Falls State Park because they spent the night there. He is hiking with Boston and OG. So this is Straps' second time, and OG, I believe, this is his second, and Boston, this is his fifth through hike. And they ran into Fresh Ground and Leapfrog Cafe and another nefarious person there at Gooch Gap. Sent in this video.
Hey, Ramdino here with Boston and OG, and look who we found, Fresh Grounds and Lucky. It's a beautiful day on the trail. Thanks.
So definitely some nefarious folk and things going on there at the Leapfrog Cafe. But in any case, that's great. Glad to see that. And it was cold and wet here when they came through. And I've also heard from some other people coming through there that it was really great to see Fresh Ground and Leapfrog Cafe there. Luscious, he has made it to Hot Springs, and so he is heading into the devastation zone. He's actually has already come across some of it before you get to, between Hot Springs and I-26 there coming out of Charlotte. This is before Big Bald. So he is running into a lot of areas that have been damaged, but they have been punched through, but it's going to be tough going through there. And then Lieutenant Hikes, he has made it to Gooch Gap. He's gotten on trail, and he indicated they were having troubles with shuttles getting booked. Particularly, they made it to Gooch Gap, and they were trying to get a shuttle into, I think he said Dahlonega, which is probably not the closest town there. But in any case, they were trying to get in there to get dried out. And Dahlonega is a little bigger than some of the Hiawassee and Suches and stuff, so it's possible they needed to get something from an outfitter there that they weren't elsewhere. But in any case, he's having trouble getting shuttles. So anytime it's wet out there, you're going to have a problem getting shuttles. Anytime there's a big storm coming in, wet, snow, whatever, you're going to have trouble getting shuttles, particularly now that NOBO season is in earnest. And so you need to figure that out. If you're out there on trail, you need to figure out well in advance that you're going to need a shuttle, and you need to give them a call. I'm going to give you a few other tips here in just a minute on what another individual sent in to me about having some issues getting shuttles. Dave Carey and Bandit, they are at Gooch Gap, or have made it to Gooch Gap, and they started at Amicola Falls in heavy rains. They said trail conditions are good. They've only had one or two blowdowns, and water sources are great. And they sent in this video.
Hey, Ramdino.
Gary, Dave, and Bandit here. Letting you know we started our thru hike.
We got off at Woody Gap, met Fresh Grounds. We're here at the Such As Love cabin, bunkhouse.
In the Kennedy Creek Resort, which is a newer hostel that they are putting up.
Things moving along pretty good after the monsoon we started in. But I figured we'd just check in with you. Thanks for your support.
So we've had a slew of people off our support list that are getting ready to leave. You folks that are out there on the trail that have already left and are getting ready to leave, please update us once a week. Wednesday or Thursday would be great. You can send in just a text, or you can be great to have a selfie of you, the group, or be great to have a 30-second video of the trail conditions and how things are out there, how things are going with you. So a lot of folks coming up, so I'm going to be expecting to see a lot of people starting to check in. So some folks out there that we got started that are on the support list that are coming up this week. And we got a bunch, so I'm going to fly through them right quick. We got Treetop, Raz, Peepaw, Tie-Dye. And Tie-Dye, by the way, he's kind of a special individual. One, I've worked with him on trail before, and when I was working with the Tennessee Eastman Club. And two, he is a trail maintainer and is one of those that's been out there busting it. So he's going to get to hike through some of his hard work and his club's hard work. So that's awesome. Scott Tromley, Jolly, Serge, I probably butchered this, Harnoy, Dayglow, Scott Free, Mama Bear, Eric Corbett, Daniel Levy, Hallie, Rendera, Lego, Optimus and Medicine Mama, Scott Nichols, Sketchbook, Gus Barker, Charity Becker, Nick Corbin, Kevin Mason, who's has his trail name of Freeze Dried, Speedo, And so those are all the folks that are off my list that are coming through or getting ready to start on trail. And those are all NOBO folks. So some of them are doing approach, some of them are just starting at Springer, but most of them look like by and large they're doing the approach trail. So go to my support list. That's down. The link to is down below. Pick you out 4, 5, 6. We're up to 188. Pick them all out and go to their social media and give them an attaboy, attagirl. Keep them pumped up all the way throughout the course of it. You wouldn't believe how much that means to them, particularly on days when they're not expecting it and they need an encouraging word, and you're there for them. So it does make a difference. And then if you're not on the support list, please go. That link to put yourself on that support list is down below as well. And leave your social media there. If you don't have social media and you're not, that's okay. Please go down there anyway, because you may need my Trail Angel list, which is an emergency Trail Angel list. And the only way I can send that to you is either if I've vetted you out through the through being on my support list, or I'll request a screenshot of your Appalachian where you registered with the ATC. And not everybody registers with the ATC on their hike, and that's fine. You're not required to, but I've got to have some way to vet you out. So either register with me or register with the ATC, or you can register both, whatever works for you. So registrations have still climbed a little bit, and they're probably going to be climbing at a more of an increasing level now, because the the Georgia Appalachian Trail Club is now down at Amicalola Falls, and they're checking people in. So they're doing the classes, of the different classes they have down there that you're required to go through those classes, and they don't take but like 15 or 30 minutes. Leave no trace and how to hang a bear bag, things like that, in order to get your bag tag down there. And we'll talk about bag tags here in just a minute, what the new design is. But in any case, so they are down there checking people in. And so the registrations, when they check you in, if you're not registered with the ATC, they're going to strongly encourage you to get on their computer or their iPad down there and go ahead and register. So we should see registrations going up to, a particular point. Up to this point, you've only been able to register your hike online. And like I said, a lot of people don't register their hike. We had an increase of NOBO, 139 more people registered NOBO last week, so we are up to 1,708 NOBO. We had 10 more flip-floppers, which brings us to 122, and 7 more SOBO, which brings us to 65. So we had 156 additional hikers that registered their hike over the past week. That brings us up to a total of 1,895. The trail maxed out an additional day, so up till this week, it was only maxed out for 1 day, and that was, 2 days. That was March 1st and March 15th, and now you can add April 1st to that date. These are 3 dates that always seem to get maxed out every single year for whatever reason. And so that's when they are maxed out. I guess people feel like it's warm enough in March 1 and April to go ahead and get started. Not sure about March 15th, while that's an important date. But anyway, maxed out meaning that more than 50 people have registered for that day that are starting off. And of course, again, not everybody registers, so probably more than 50 are starting. Doesn't mean that once we reach 50, nobody else can start. They don't control that. They don't have control over that. And so that's just the carrying capacity of the trail that the ATC says once you get over 50, you're going to have problems finding places to camp in Georgia, wherever you're at. And so we are still trending down for our registrations from previous years. So here's a chart that I put together, kind of shows you where we're at, and we're really now back to the 2020 or 2019 levels of where we were pre-COVID. So that's interesting to see that. Last year and the year before that were big years, but not so much now. So getting to some of the additional news we got out there, it looks like this next week, starting tomorrow, today's Sunday, starting tomorrow is going to have a lot of cold weather moving in, some snow moving in. So be prepared, hikers out there, for that. Frodo indicated there was going to be double-digit accumulations up in Virginia. And then Whispers, our northern correspondent, now he's up in the Whites, but he said there's potential for higher elevations along central Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and western Maine to see upwards of 18 to 30 plus inches of snow. In the lower elevations are going to at least get 8 to 14. So, we don't have hikers up there right now as far as through hikers, but there are other people that watch this channel that are looking to get out there on trail, and so that's what you're going to be looking for over the next coming weeks. April and Uncle Bill, they send in that Georgia has started putting out bear boxes for use, and they have also put up signage that says that are discouraging you from using bear hang. So the bears have gotten smarter down in Georgia. I guess just I don't know what they're doing to them down there. But one thing is they're getting more experience because there's more hikers in Georgia than there is in North Carolina. A lot of people get off trail before they get out of Georgia. But Georgia's putting out bear boxes, and the bears are getting smarter. They can defeat the bear hangs, and so they know how to do that now. So they're encouraging folks to use those bear boxes down there. I think those bear boxes are better than cable. They're not a trash can. Don't leave your junk in it. Don't leave your trash in it. Pack it out, because if you leave it in there, somebody else has got to come behind you and get that out. And this is not a maid service out there on the trail, folks. Those ridge runners are out there to help you, but not carry your stuff. So don't leave trash in there. Mention bag tags and hang tags and the new design, and the Georgia Appalachian Trail Club is giving those out now down in Amicalola Falls State Park when you take their classes. And so it is a good design. It's green, and it has the 100 years on it for the 100 years of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. Of course, their new logo. So they've changed their logo now after 100 years, and now they've got a new one. And anyway, just thought I'd let y'all know that I'm not going to comment on the new logo, and probably not going to be doing a lot more comment moving forward on the ATC. But they do give me some information from time to time, and so when I get that, I will let you know. Been a while since I was able to update you on the spreadsheet that Bright Eyes that has been organizing that and handling that and updating that, and also the map that we've got that goes along with that is linked from the page of the spreadsheet. So I'll leave that link down below. But that is a thing of beauty now, because as before when we had a lot of red on it, now we only got one small section of red, and that's 0.7 of a mile at Iron Mountain Gap. And so right now the rest of the trail is hikeable. Now there is a reroute around Iron Mountain Gap. That reroute is not recognized by the ATC. If I'm not mistaken, the National Forest Service recognizes that, or they have given it their blessing, but the ATC's not recognized that, because on their page they've indicated that there's no detours around the area, and the ATC actually has it closed all the way from Indian Grave Gap to Hughes Gap, including Cherry Gap Shelter, which was destroyed. And they say due to detours, no, hikers should plan to skip around this section. So there is a detour there. I find that interesting that they had originally communicated to the trail clubs, and this was told to me by the trail clubs, that they were recognizing that reroute, but apparently they're not. But it's there. It's been marked. There's a sign on trees. Engineer stakes have put out. It's not been blazed. There have been some ribbons put out. So the whole trail now, with the exception of that 0.7 of a mile, is hikeable, and you can get through that area as well. So I think that is pretty awesome. And, the only reason the 0.7 of a mile has not been cleared is because they were planning to come in there and do the National Forest Service some salvage logging. And right now that we don't know if that's going to happen or not. As you're aware, and we're not getting political here, but you're aware there have been a lot of cuts in the federal government, and the National Forest Service is one of them, as well as the National Park Service. And so interesting enough, of course, the ATC is private, so I guess they wouldn't be cut. However, so we don't know where that is right now on that salvage operation starting. It's supposed to be starting in March and April. Don't know if that is going to happen right now. And then last week I mentioned to you that this channel me, you, because this is your channel. This is our channel. You know, I'm just here, the guy putting the information out. So, but we've been nominated for a Best YouTube Channel of 2024 in the People's Choice Awards in the Outdoor Media Summit. That's a lot of words there. I have no idea what that means other than the fact that it's pretty cool to get nominated for that, but I need your help in voting for us. And anybody that will go and vote here, your friends, your enemies, your wife, your dog, anybody that's got a Facebook page, go and vote for us. I think that was pretty neat to be able to show y'all a plaque and put that up here, back here on this wall, that you folks can be a part of that. So you got to go to the Facebook group here. I'll leave that link down below. And then you got to scroll down to the Best YouTube Channel. And once you click on that, you got to scroll down to Ramdino Hiking the Trails, hit that radio button, and then you're done and get off that. So please go and help me with that. Greatly appreciate that. And then I don't typically, people send me stuff all the time that they want me to put on my channel, and I don't typically do that because there's just so much of it, and some of it is not pertinent to what we do here. But I did have Maddie, who thru hiked in 2023, and she's doing something special along the lines of what I do here, and that is she is wanting to take 3 thru hikers, and she wants to interview them at different points on the trail to see how things are going, how they, when they start out, how are things going? When they get further up the trail, are things still going all rosy and horseshoes and rainbows, unicorns and rainbows? And so she wants to follow those people along. And so she is sent in this video. So we'll watch that right quick.
Hey you all, my name's Maddie, and I'm trying to interview hikers in the beginning of their hike, at trail days, and the end of their hike, and then make a documentary out of that. However, I'm having trouble finding people that are interested and that are leaving the dates I need. I live in southern Indiana, and I can only go down to Georgia one time, so I picked February 28th through March 3rd because that's when the most people are registered. If you know anyone that's leaving then, please pass on the word to them, and if you are interested, I will send the link to Ramdino. Thanks!
And there's more explanation at her YouTube channel. I'll leave that link leave that link down below where you can go and click on that and see how you can help her out. But hopefully she's putting together a documentary, and some thru hikers out there can be a part of that, and that will help them be more successful out there on the trip, because that's what we're all about here, supporting thru hikers, supporting the hikers, and building this great hiking community, whether you can physically get on trail or not. You're, even at home, cheering people on, commenting, being a part of it, you're still part of this community. And then I wanted to give you an update on my mother-in-law. So she came home from the hospital. I told you last week she broke 2 ribs, shattered 3 others, got airlifted to a trauma center. They were going to do emergency surgery, and after being there for a week, they just determined that, given her age and she has a heart condition, the risk did not outweigh the reward for it. So she did not have surgery. She's come back home now. Her nerve block is wore off, so you can imagine what that's like. And so just continue to remember her in your prayers and good thoughts, whatever you can send her way. Thanks a lot for everybody that you've done for me. You noticed I don't have my brace on anymore. So for everybody that wanted to know, there is what the scar looks like. Not too bad. Looks like a little zipper, but not too bad on there. But in any case, I haven't officially, as far as the doctor knows, gotten it off yet. So, but it helps. I've got I can't do this anymore. That's all I can do. And so I've lost some mobility in it, but I'm working on it, and I can't do that with that brace on. So I'm letting pain be my guide, but I have gotten that brace off. And so I'm excited about that. Head on over to this link right here. We've got this playlist of everything that we've updated so far in 2024, so you can go back and catch up. And appreciate everything you do and all the good thoughts and prayers you send my way. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.